Welcome back to For Her Kind podcast, where we share our clients' journeys and discuss health and wellness. Today, we're joined by one of our clients, Kirsten Tam. Kirsten is a nurse, a mom, and someone who has completely transformed not only her body, but the way she approaches health, fitness, and herself over the past year. Since joining FHK, she has lost over 25 pounds, reduced her measurements, built strength, gained confidence, and created habits that fit into a life that is anything but predictable. And that's why I have her on the podcast today. So many women believe that they need the perfect schedule, perfect motivation, or perfect circumstances to make progress. And Kirsten's story proves otherwise. She's done this while working rotating shifts, navigating night shifts, caring for her family, and being a busy mom. This spring, she even stepped into one of our client photo shoots, something she's never imagined herself doing. And she did amazing. So today we're going to talk about shift work, nursing, nutrition, confidence, consistency, and finding success in the middle of the chaos. Kristen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Christina. I'm so excited.
So let's go back to the beginning. And I really like our clients to talk about themselves on the show. I want you to tell me about yourself and what life looked like before you joined FHK.
Before I joined FHK, I was on the bottom of the totem pole. I put everybody but myself first, and the career that I am in, that is what you do. You are a provider and you are serving constantly to somebody else's needs. When I saw a neighbor, a girlfriend who joined FHK and had great outcomes, I asked her, "What are you doing?" And she led me towards FHK. I was a longtime shift worker. I have been a nurse for close to 14 years. I have always worked part-time, so my schedule really does flip consistently and unpredictably. I also work from home, working for the Ontario Nurse Association with my local bargaining unit, and that requires a sit-down work, sitting at my computer, and emotional supporting other nurses as well. That was also a big load on top of everything else. My husband is also a shift worker and works shifts through days. And so he leaves very early in the morning and comes back late in the evening. And so I work around his work. And I have a beautiful 8-year-old son who is active in sports, school, and all of his social engagements as well. And so trying to find a balance in all of that, where I already didn't feel like I had enough time, was probably the overwhelming challenge to the start.
Okay, we're going to talk about all of these things because I think you are a really great role model within the community. And I think we have a lot of nurses that join the program. I always say, like, a lot of helpers, people who work in the health industry, taking care of others. And the common theme that comes up during consult calls is exactly what you just said, like feeling like being the bottom of the totem pole. And when you need to be the top, right? Like, you're taking care of others, and there's such a big shortage now of nurses too in Canada. I don't really know much more about in the US as well, but which I'm sure you can speak about, but we need you healthy for everyone else. So I'm really glad that you joined us. I'm glad that you saw your friend. I think I know who it was. I'm glad that you spoke with her. And I think too, it'd be great to talk a little bit about the influence of others around us and how we need to choose wisely about who we surround ourselves with when it comes to who we want to be and how we want to show up. In regards to your typical week as a nurse, what does that look like? You had mentioned you do a little bit of at-home stuff. You're supporting other nurses too. What does it look like for your typical schedule right now?
As working shift work, I could be working a day shift, a night shift. So that would be a 12-hour shift. It's not just the 12 hours. It's getting ready before that, prepping meals before that, thinking about your food. What am I going to eat? And it could flip back and forth. I could also have shifts where I work a day shift into a night shift, or night shift later into the day, later in the week. And so there's a lot of flip-flopping of your overall consciousness and lack of sleep, especially with night shifts. Working from home would be maybe like a 9 to 4. And then I may have also engagements in the evening. It could be a local meeting, maybe once a month, or following up with members and catching up on emails. And that is a sedentary job. And especially I moved departments. So I came from a very active emergency room, which is consistently busy. I had to refocus and relearn a whole new aspect of nursing where I moved to critical care, which is a little bit more sedentary. It's not as active. It is more focused one-on-one. And I lost a lot of that scatteredness that I was very much used to working in Emerge. I needed to find a new way to provide myself focus. I had seen my doctor and I was diagnosed with ADD. Moving to another department, I needed to relearn how to do things, how to prioritize things, not only at work, but at home as well.
I am fascinated by the fact that you worked in the Emerge. I feel like I could ask you a million questions about your experiences within that department.
One or two good stories I have.
I've had the pleasure of hanging out with you many times. We were actually just together yesterday. We had a nice little local meetup in the Newmarket area in Ontario, which was amazing. It's nice to just be able to hang out during the week, have a nice meal together and chit chat. It must have been just very difficult working in Emerge, and your nervous system must have been all over the place.
That's what actually caused me to leave the department was this overwhelming constant stimulation, fear. You're constantly in a fight or flight state. That's not good for your body and it's not good to continue on like that. And that was something that I needed to make a decision with. And when you identify as not just a nurse, but you identify as an emerge nurse or a critical care nurse or a palliative nurse or a trauma nurse, it is so hard to step away from that because you identify that as your persona and as your person. And I did a lot of work to get past that because I had to grieve that part of my life to move on
Mhm.
to a different type of nursing, which is completely different. So that is actually one of the best things about nursing is that there's so many opportunities available to us, but it took an emotional toll on my family life and my personal life.
And when did you leave the Emerge?
2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you joined FHK. When did you join last year?
Yeah, last year, September, August,
Mhm.
September.
How do you feel like if you were part of the program and in the Emerge still? Like, let's say this was 2023 and you had joined the program. Do you feel like it would have impacted you anyway?
Oh,
Do you feel you would?
absolutely. Like my stress and how I handle stress now to have an outlet. When I have my very busy meeting days, my outlet is I know I'm going to the gym. I know I'm going to pick up heavy things and put things down. That is my motto when I leave. I tell my coworkers, I'm like, gotta go to the gym, gotta pick up things and put things down. And having that outlet, utilizing my walks, getting the steps, having a different shift in mindset and prioritizing myself now maybe would have helped me handle things a lot better than previous. But now I'm just grateful for the space that I'm in now, where things are going, and the entire journey. You have to go through other things to appreciate all of the good that does come. Because if we don't have those moments, then you can't appreciate all of the work that goes into where you end up.
And I think so many women come to us when they've hit a breaking point and they're like, okay, who am I now? What is going on? I am in this constant flight or fight mode. I have this constant internal battle within myself. I'm not showing up within my home the way I used to. I wish women would come to us before they hit that point, but unfortunately, it just doesn't always work out that way. Because who knows, maybe you would have ended up staying in Emerge, but I think you're happy where you are now. So everything is meant to
Uh,
be.
I am.
Mhm. I do think there's a burnout rate within that department.
There is definitely burnout throughout nursing, and that is part of what I enjoy doing is helping nurses manage their workloads, advocate for themselves, and provide them with a resource and a relationship with their own leaders in their facilities to help advocate for change. That is not something that comes easy to nurses. We advocate for our patients, but we have a very difficult time advocating for ourselves and our needs. That is a big shift within the nursing profession that nurses are starting to speak up.
Mhm. I used to be a teacher. I was in the school district and I had an opportunity to do a placement within the hospital, working in the child and teen ward, specifically working with eating disorder clinic patients. It was a placement, it's a very short time. I spoke to you already about this, but it was so eye-opening to me. And I remember saying, don't know how these nurses do it. Is a beast. This is not for the weak. It made me have a much bigger appreciation for everyone that works in the hospital setting. For me, it was a great experience. And I'm so glad I did it because it is important to expose yourself to what else is going on around you, especially the departments and people who end up taking care of you. Because people are mean to nurses and doctors. Like you need to be very empathetic when you walk into that hospital. And I'm sure you have experienced all types of abuse. How do you even manage with that?
Unfortunately, yes, I have seen things that the public isn't even aware of, nor would I even want them to really know. But you are seeing people at their worst. And when they are stressed, when they are in need, our healthcare system in Canada has been underfunded for a very long time. And the needs of our community aren't always met. And if you don't have access to healthcare, we know that social determinants of health affect the lifestyle of everybody. And so when you come in and you are in this dire need of help, people aren't at their best. And you kind of have to put that in your mindset that this isn't directed towards me, it's directed towards a system that is failing everybody. And I can only do what these two hands can do. And I remember being a very new nurse and being very overwhelmed. And the senior nurse that was with me, I was like, I'm scared. And she's like, we only got two hands. And that's always something that I've come back to. And you have the ability to walk away. You have the ability to say, I do not need to be spoken to like that. We have systems in place to alert other aspects of the building, but that constant bereavement of abuse is one of the reasons that I left Emerge too. So
Mhm.
I have my own trauma from years and years of abuse and witnessing these things. And so that takes a massive hit to your mental health. And it took me 5 or 6 months when I was off work because of that, that I needed to create a shift and change my life from something that I worked very, very hard to do as an emerge nurse. That
Mhm.
was all I wanted to do. It still is upsetting.
Mhm. Well, good for you. I mean, you advocated for yourself and you recognize, like, hey, you know what? Like, I need to take a break. And that's not because you're weak, or it's not a sign of failure. It's just, hey, you needed to do this to be able to reset, to ground yourself. Working in Emerge in such a chaotic environment, it's so hard for you to regulate yourself and become clear with what you want and how you're functioning your day to day. It's great that you did that. I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm sure other nurses and other women listening to this right now, even if you're not working in the hospital setting, but feel like you're needing a break, it's okay. You can do that with that extra security within a job to be able to do that. Take it. I did it too at one point as well. And it was great. It was very hard for me to take that. I took it like an 8 week leave, but it's what I needed. It honestly led me to being with FHK because I took that moment to be like, okay, I need to find safety within myself. When I started doing that, I was able to shut out all the noise around me. I was like, okay, what is it that I actually want to do? It is possible. This is possible. I need to step into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask about your specific programming because I'm not your coach, Coach Haley. is Kirsten's coach. Everybody kind of walks into FHK with the same sort of program, but it looks different for everyone because everyone's goals are different, everyone's lifestyle is different. So when you first started FHK, what did the program look like for you?
Surprisingly, I got to eat more. And that was a big shift. I met with Elisa in August and we were going on our summer camping trip. And she prepped me start in September. I'm going to set you up with Haley. You're going to start loose tracking, get used to weighing food, seeing what things look like, putting in Cronometer, go for walks. I kept everything loose. And then when I started with Haley, we had a great intake call. We talked where my goals wanted to be. And I think back to that woman that started. And I said this in one of my check ins a month ago or so. And it was like, I wish I could tell this woman where she was going because she was so broken. I was gaining weight as a perimenopausal woman. I had seen my doctor maybe in June, and it was all this perimenopause coming into my 40s. Haley started me eating more food. It was huge. And I was like, I can't eat this much. And she's like, you don't have to eat this much, but I want it's to put your body into a relaxed state, take out the stress of what you've been doing. To be honest, I didn't eat very much before this. With my busy schedule, I wasn't hungry in the morning. I often would work all the way through into lunch and maybe scarf something down by like 1, 2 o'clock. And I wouldn't even realize it that I hadn't eaten all day. Then nighttime comes, I'm the main cook for the house. And so make dinner, and then the nighttime cravings come, and it's the eating, watching TV, it's the food noise. And it's because I didn't fuel my body in the morning. And though I wasn't hungry in the morning, she comes later looking for you.
Mhm.
And so within a few weeks, I started to become hungry in the morning and want breakfast. And that was a massive shift in itself, talking about going to the gym. I am also a kinesiologist by trade. That was my first degree. I knew exercise, I knew mechanics, I knew body mechanics, but after having a child, your body does not move the same. Gaining weight, your body doesn't move the same. And being 42, also your body doesn't move the same. So going into the gym was super intimidating because I was always doing group programs. So you're with like minded women, and now I'm going to go in me. And although I knew the machines, it's very intimidating to go back and try to navigate how your body moves again and work out the kinks and also film yourself at the same time. There was a lot of support from Haley and encouragement that, yeah, I felt that way too. And I also started to realize that nobody else is watching me as I'm doing my workouts because they're too into themselves, which is fantastic. And I'm doing it for me. And it was great to see the progress, be able to show the exercises to Haley, get that feedback, and also look at the exercises myself. And with my background, was able to identify the things that I was doing and shift my form as well. But also, practice has changed. I graduated in kinesiology in 2006. So things are, exercising is not the same. The mindset of women exercising is not the same. We were told high reps, lots of cardio. You're spending so much time in the gym. Coming into this, I'm in and out in an hour. I am lifting heavier, compound movements. There isn't cardio in between your movements, which was something I was used to doing. Rest was the biggest shift for me.
Because you're also just so used to being so go, go, go because of
Yes.
work. You just kind of did a lecture on the rest and recovery part. And it is so important for you to rest in between those sets so that you can go into your next set of your RDLs or whatever it is that you're working on and be able to lift as heavy as you did before. But oftentimes people don't realize that. They just skip the rest or oh gosh, I used to do this at F45. In between the sets, we would do jumping jacks.
Right?
Dear Lord. We should have been resting that time so that we could perform the next exercise correctly and with as much energy as possible. A lot of women always struggle with this when they start the program. If you're doing the unilateral movements, it's really important too. You need to rest in between that as well. So if you're doing lunges, don't just skip the rest in between each leg. Rest again for another minute, then hop onto that other side. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
So the way you started your program, when you were like, were you familiar? So you were very obviously been familiar with, moving your body. Maybe you hadn't really been doing it very consistently or, you know, correctly for many years. But in terms of nutrition, had you ever tracked your food?
Absolutely not. I have never been, I have never, also with my health background, I know what foods are healthy. I never had wrap my head around the macro side of things or weighing foods or doing anything like that. The only thing I had ever done was keto in the past. I had to do a lot of research into that, but it was not sustainable. I gained the weight back, although I did lose weight. It wasn't something that was sustainable for long term. Tracking food was new to me and a challenge because I cook at my house. I am very much whole foods and cook for my family. And so I needed to not only provide for myself, but be able to provide for my child and my husband. We still
Mm,
let the dog in.
mm.
You,
When you started tracking, how did it feel? It can seem like a lot when you first start the program, but if you come from a background never doing it, how did it feel when you started tracking? What did you notice? What did you learn? And how was it manageable with the night shifts?
So the tracking, it was a challenge, but it got easier. The Cronometer was super friendly to use, and being able to ask questions in the chat at any time and having people help you. How do I put recipes in? How do I put in a full meal? Being able to scan foods is super easy too. A lot of foods, even berries, the packages scan. And so it is very user friendly. It is work, but doing batch cooking, it was good to do because as I cooked, I would just weigh it and then put it in my meal. And then I would weigh everything at the end. And then I could do my portions, recognizing it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be bang on. And I learned yesterday at our event that you can add calories to Cronometer. So I am still learning. It was daunting, especially as someone who doesn't eat a lot of packaged foods. It was laborious. I was told we're going to eat a lot of the same things. And I was like, I don't do that. Well, guess what? Kirsten does now. Kirsten eats the same things. It's because I know what feels good when I eat it. And so I do end up eating the same things. I'm in a position now that I know roughly what that is going to give me. So tracking has been a little bit more loose now that I'm in a maintenance phase. But at the beginning, eating more calories, tracking things, learning things. Oh, I can't have all of that. Or, oh, I get a little bit more of that because putting it into Cronometer would give me that feedback, positive or negative, because I would weigh something that I would want to have as a snack and I'd be like, can't have that, not allowed. But also, like, where can I make space if I want to have it? Because it's not just within that period of time that I have to maintain that. Being a shift worker, your meal shift as well. And so, working a night shift, I would have a nap during the day. So, there's less food, or there could be more because if you're eating breakfast and lunch and then you have a dinner later in the evening, you also are eating during the night shift because you're going to have a breakfast before you leave for work. Some people want to eat while they're at work, but then when you come home and you go to sleep, you might only get up the next day and have a breakfast and a dinner. And so your calories are shifted at that point as well, because you may only be catching two meals during that time. It is important to also eat during the nighttime so that you are getting your protein for that period. Does it give you a little bit more flex elsewhere? Absolutely. After my night shifts, my weight would actually go down after night shift because you naturally retain water because you're awake through the night. And a lot of nurses find on night shift you bloat. By choosing the right foods, that kind of disappeared for me, that nighttime bloating. I actually would have a natural flush after working a couple of night shifts because I'd be like, yeah, get to check in with a little bit more. Or like sometimes it would be quite a
Mhm.
bit. But yeah, doing the tracking, planning ahead, portioning my meals beforehand, I would basically cook with us both working shift work, I would cook more amounts so that there would be food for both Carl and I, my husband, to take to work with us. So that
I
part was
was I was going to ask you about how your scale fluctuated balancing the night shifts because oftentimes we have servers who work late nights and all that kind of
mhm.
stuff. Oftentimes we can see way more fluctuations with individuals like yourself and your lifestyle naturally just because you're eating at different times of the day. It's not consistent. Regardless, you may not have the window to digest your food over the night or eat really late, then wake up in the morning and you just have more food volume in you at different points. What did it look like in terms of fluctuation on the scale, and how did you manage that?
So it was my goal was weight loss when I started. I was 180 pounds, and my goal was to come back to a healthy weight. For me, I wanted to sit around 145 pounds was my goal. And so I probably saw the scale, I don't think started to drop right away, but it also took me time to even get into the practice of everything. Like I maybe only did 3 workouts in my first check-in block because trying to find and manage time. And so it wasn't probably until October, November, maybe like 2 or 3 months in, that I was really able to make more space, find more time, and prioritize myself and my needs. That part in itself is a huge growth. I probably didn't see results maybe for 3 months. And then it was kind of this step. It wasn't like
Mhm.
this linear side of things. It was more of a step. And I was in a consistent focus phase from maybe like October, November until photo shoot with some break.
After 1 month of maintenance, right?
Yes, I think we did 1 month of maintenance. Even within the focus phase, I never felt hungry, and there was always feedback from Haley about how I was feeling and learning and going through the other education opportunities, learning about volume eating, talking in the chat. There were times in the beginning reaching out to Haley, some of the themes in the chat, and I was like, I don't identify with this at all. And she's like, it's okay. I have the same views as you, a lot of whole foods. There just what was being, because there's conversations all the time in the chat.
Mhm.
Everybody has different goals, different lifestyles, and accessibility to food. And so what was being discussed at the time wasn't something that I was like, I don't know if I fit here. Like, I feel like I'm older. I feel like what I'm trying to gain from this is much different than what somebody else is trying to gain from this. And Haley just helped to keep me focused and was like, this is your journey. This is for you. And I believe as well, whole foods and fresh vegetables and less produced items. I am not somebody that I don't eat a lot of protein bars. That's not where I feel gratification for my food. I want to eat volumes. And you saw me yesterday. I want a bowl of salad. I want my protein on top and I want to eat. I need that visual feedback as well to my food. And I don't get that from protein bars or a bag of something because I don't
Mhm.
see the beauty. I need that. It looks so good. I need my food to look good. I tease Haley and she's like, can you just make me a salad? Can you, because I put it in the chat all the time, like my big ass bowl. And that was my biggest thing. And I made one for my husband. And he's like, I can't eat all this. I'm like, that's fine. I can.
I think when a lot of women start the program, because we give the targets of calories, protein, fiber, women aren't really used to having to focus on fiber. So I think one trend that often spikes within the community, especially when there's people entering in the program, is they start learning about fiber and they start searching for fiber options. Often the questions are, how can I get more fiber? How can I get more protein? And the answer is always like, okay, there's only so many protein sources out there. So just eat more of whatever you like. And then with fiber, it's like women start the program and they're like, oh, let me get my fiber from like Smart Sweets and like packaged goods, like Farm Girl cereal or whatever it is. Once they start doing the program more and more, and they hear from their coach, okay, why don't you gravitate a little bit more to some more whole food options for your fiber? Like instead of just relying on Smart Sweets to hit your target, why don't we incorporate more berries, whatever it is, it's really that they like to eat as well. We focus on that with women. We don't want to be suggesting things that you don't like to eat because that's going to make it much harder for you to hit your targets. But once women are in the program longer, they eventually start gravitating more towards the whole foods options because exactly what you said, eating a protein bar, that's a supplementary thing. That's a backup thing that we always say. Your lunch shouldn't be a protein bar. If you're on the go and you're traveling and you have a full day of flying and then a bus, then yeah, that's a great option to have. That's handy for you. But we are always coaching in the background. Why don't we not have that protein bar for lunch? Why don't we make something with more volume in it that's going to allow you to hit your targets and make you feel more satiated in the end? Like a nice big ass bowl of salad with your pressed cottage cheese and your chicken breast and whatever else it is you want to throw in there. So thank you for bringing that up because I do think that's something that the listeners need to hear. And for those who are newer in the program, what also happens is that women join the program and they often get a big sigh of relief being able to hear from their coach, eat what you'd like to eat, but just let it fit in the targets. And so that's when it's like, oh my gosh, I'm allowed to have little Smart Seeds. Or, oh, I'm allowed to have Sour Patches as an intracarb before I go train. So it's like you said, it's all part of the learning curve. And again, why I always bring up like this is a very much a lifestyle program so that you can go through these types of experiences and really learn from
Shout out Smart Sweets. Shout out Farm Girl.
them. I know. Right. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. I think you are such a great advocate for the nurses around you, even again with what you're doing within your role as well. What are some tips that you're now giving the nurses around you? When it comes to because during those shifts, I've heard you say this too. People often bring junk food as well for nurses.
Yep. Yeah, I've had really great support from my peers and my coworkers, and they have been my cheer team along this journey with me. And they have also started their own independent journeys as well. That's been cool for me and us to support one another. As a nurse, you have patients expressing their gratitude, families expressing their gratitude, and that usually includes Timbits, cookies, cakes, delicious finger foods that we know at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we all reach for, whether or not you're a nurse or working from home. Avoiding those becomes more natural when other people are around you that are like-minded. If families ask, they may be with us for a period of time. They ask us, would you like? I'm like, well, what kind of things do you like? And I love when people bring things from their culture or other things. Though I know that I don't appreciate a Timbit, absolutely. But it becomes that like, is it worth it? There'd be times in the past that like the 4 o'clock hits and you like go get a donut, you go like get another coffee to like get that energy back up. And so rather than that now, like a lot of us working aren't doing that, and you may be surrounded people that do eat a lot of that stuff. You have to think like, is this serving my purpose? How am I going to feel afterwards after I eat this? And what else could I be eating instead? And so strategizing my food throughout my day has been a lot more stable. So in the morning, I usually eat my breakfast at shift change while I get report. I may have a snack in between lunch, and I need to have my lunch because otherwise I get hangry. And so I have my biggest bowl and I have my little container that I bring my salad or my leftovers in. And then mid afternoon, I try to stack up my protein again, which is usually like a cottage cheese. I call it cheesecake. The girls make fun of me at work because they're like, it's not cheesecake. And then I gave it to them and they're like, okay, it does kind of taste like cheesecake. And it's bran buds, the stevie syrup, cottage cheese, and then I just kind of make it in like a layered tier and I put berries in it. And for me, that's my go-to pick me up at like 2, 3 o'clock that sustains me to supper. And I do bring all my meals with me with a 12-hour shift. And sometimes things are busy and I don't get all of those things. And so you do need to advocate for yourself and your patient care and take your breaks. sometimes you're not able to take your breaks. And so you do come home at 9 o'clock starving and having to eat my dinner. But I've also had to come home. My son's still awake. I got to put him to bed. I got to do the other things, the mom things that we do. And then I eat my supper. And so there has to be an acknowledgement that
Mhm.
things aren't always going to be perfect. The day's nutrition isn't going to be perfect. And you just have to plan ahead to do the best, because there are times that I'm out and I'm like, oh, this is going to take me longer than I thought it was. And I have to know the places that I can go to get my quick pick me ups. Whereas, like before, I probably would have gone to McDonald's and grabbed a cheeseburger, or I would have gotten a burrito. And now I know what is going to serve me, and I can change what goes into that food when I buy it. And like the other day, I went for a burrito. I don't get the rice, I don't get the beans. I just double the meat and put all the veggies in it. But you have to learn as you go. The way that FHK and your coaches guide you is that you create lifelong sustainable choices that are going to carry you past this. And you are able to not just do a 12-week program and yeah, you're going to see results, but can you sustain that? Can you continue to do that? And going into this, I started with the 6-month program and I already knew I wanted to keep going. I'm in this till like, I want to see where I can take it. I don't have this end goal. I'm going on a tangent, but back to food is that, yeah, I plan ahead. I weigh my meals. And then, yeah, I think I lost my train of thought there. I think I kind of
Yeah,
finished it anyways.
you did, don't worry. It's okay. So it's so interesting because I always like to look at things from like a systemic view. I meant to touch on this earlier when I brought up when I worked in the teaching industry and working in a school. Again, big system that feel like you're just a little person within it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not, right? And you can make a really big impact. And like it really does sound like you're making an impact on the women around you or the nurses around you, sorry. And yeah, I want you to think big here because I think you have the power to do this. But like, there's opportunities that you can make a difference, like even doing like a challenge for all the nurses, like encouraging all the nurses, like, hey, for this month, like, why don't we focus on all of us bringing in our big ass bowls? If you guys are doing potluck style stuff, it's those little things that radiate so much in other people's lives. But once you kind of just get stuck in this, like the routine of it all, what's going on around you and how everyone is constantly functioning and how the hospital is functioning, it makes it so much harder to get out of that little bubble. I challenge you to do something like that. I think it would do really well.
They love to see what's in my lunch, and I also like to see what is in theirs. And I think that would be a great opportunity for us to come together even more. We're all very supportive of each other's journeys and we do check ins with each other. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've had such a significant change, I'm still running into people and they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You look so happy. You look so healthy. You look so good. And I get to say, this is what I did. And they're like, man, that was so much work. And that's the biggest part, is the work that goes into this process. It was a simple journey with the 1% input every day. It's like, what can I do this today to make myself 1% better? That
Mm-hmm.
resulted in the ultimate change. Like I'm 8 months in, 9 months in, and this fulsome change that I have had, to still have people coming up to me and asking me what I'm doing and be able to say what I've done, that has caused them to be like, you're so inspirational. Like, this is that people clapping. As women, that is something that we need to do more for each other. There, as we start to get older, we need to stop tearing each other down. We need to support one another. We need to encourage one another, whether it's a good choice or a bad choice. Clapping in the background, that little thumbs up on a post to somebody can make a huge
Mm-hmm.
difference. I encourage people to post about their journey. This isn't a selfish thing to be doing. This is so selfless, to step back, take care of yourself, and cheer for one another. And that's one of the best things that has come from FHK, being in an environment where it is not judgmental. You are open for who you are. Exactly how you come is what people appreciate you for, and what you are able to contribute is what you are able to contribute. Some people are very active in chat. You see people at the live events and everything. And it's been really great to connect with us, even in the Newmarket group, and see a lot of the same people. I remember going to our workout session down in Toronto, and that was my first time. And I was so nervous because I still felt heavy. I still didn't feel like myself. I wasn't going to look like the other girls, but being able to be present with other women on the same journey as you, also cheering for you, is so fucking powerful. Is There's nothing that is more powerful than a woman that knows her worth. And that is what embodies at FHK, being able to establish these friendships and link up and find somebody who lives in Saskatchewan now. And we text and we talk over Instagram and have these connections with people that you wouldn't have met in other lifetimes, to now have these relationships and strangers that are cheering for you on your Instagram, reposting your stuff. Like, how cool is that? And that is so amazing that we can be loud, we can be proud of what we're going through and clap for one another. And that's so emotionally empowering for me that I put in a post at my 6-month mark. And I remember putting it together, and I was so nervous because I used my workout videos that I was sending to Haley, and I put in this montage and I had it with a template. I was so nervous to send it because I was really putting it out there. I'm not an Instagram girly. I post pictures of my kid, my dog, our camping trips. I am not that kind of person. And for me to post something about myself and this journey and what I'd gone through and where I had come, it was a definition in time of where I was, and to hold myself accountable to continue to move forward. The feedback that I got from that, like so many people reaching out, being like, I knew you were doing something, gave me so much more encouragement. And I remember waking up the next morning and being like, oh my God, I can't believe that I put this up. Like, I really put myself out there. And the positive feedback that I got was not what I was used to. And was such an experience in itself. And being proud as a woman to make these changes, advocate for herself, like, that's what FHK has given me. I would have never done anything like that before. Like, the confidence that has come from this journey is like, it's crazy.
I might know the answer, but what do you think has changed the most about the way you see yourself?
I still see myself. I still don't see all of the change that has happened. The mind still hasn't caught up on all of that. And that's something that I've talked with Haley about. And that's why she pushed me so hard to do the photo shoot, because then you get that opportunity to see where you are right now. It's very hard when you're losing weight, not quickly, when it's like a pound or two a week, which is a healthy amount to lose per week. That adds up. And when I got to 35 pounds loss, which is what I'm at now, you can't buy clothes through all those segments of life. The clothes are fitting loosely, but you don't really have anything that fits. You have a few things that fit nicely. You might buy a shirt. I had to buy new bras, but still, I'm not at that full wardrobe. And I see myself in pictures, I see myself in the mirror, and I don't quite see everything just yet. But when I do put on one of those outfits, today I put on a pair of pants that I had bought a few months ago, and I was like, oh, let's put these on today. Well, those don't fit either now. So, how I see myself now, and my biggest growth was coming into my body now. I'm still trying to find identity associated with that. But my confidence now, because I put on clothes and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks great. I put on something and this feels good on me. And I have confidence now that I didn't have before. Like, never would Kirsten go work out at the gym in a bra and leggings. And I remember the first time that I did that, and I felt so great to be able to see those changes in the mirror every time I was at the gym. So, confidence wise is huge. My mental stability has been probably one of the biggest changes as well. Things that would emotionally, I know other women can identify this with the paralysis, the overwhelming. You'd have all this stuff to do, but all you can do is go and lay on the couch because
Mhm.
it's the paralysis. And I have less and less of that now where I would get off a really big meeting and I would have to go to the couch and I'd have to lay down just to settle my brain. Now I don't need to do that. I have the mental fortitude, I have the energy. I'll go for a walk, or I know I'm going to the gym. I've made all of those changes. There's so many aspects. And when people ask me about FHK, it's not just about the weight loss, it's not about the foods, it's not just about the mental mindset. It is all of that encompassed in itself to then create this package of a woman to then take out to the world. My
Mhm.
husband's noticed a huge difference. My friends have noticed a huge difference. It's been a total life change.
You touching on the fact that you're aware that you look in the mirror and you're still not really seeing and processing the change, and that does come down to self-worth and many years of you punishing yourself. And I think majority of our community can, and I love how you're saying it's not just about the exercising and the nutrition. It's going through this entire process that's helping you build your self-worth. So keep working at it, but it does require work. You do need to catch yourself when you're criticizing yourself or when you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't really see any changes. And it's like you need this extra reinforcement almost from maybe your app and your tracking sheet and Haley and everything else. But it really needs to come from within. So we always give those strategies too of having those affirmations on your mirror, like a sticky note, I'm beautiful or I'm strong, I'm working so hard, I had amazing results. Like all of this requires constant repetition, not just the repetition of tracking your food and tracking your workouts and all of this stuff. So keep that in mind. You're coming along. Let me ask you this. When do you feel like the program really started to click?
Probably November, December was when it really started to hit because the results were coming. I found I was hitting the majority of my goal, like on my macros and the workouts. And that's when it started to flow for me.
Like, so was
Like,
that 3 months in?
yeah, like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some women say like 3 months, or some even say like 6 months. But I think too, like as you keep going, more starts to click, right? So like, yeah, maybe you just like the ability to like see your fat loss kind of happening and like you know, getting into a consistent routine of going to the gym. But I think more of the mindset starts to click at like 9 months, 12 months, and you being able to really be even more confident in yourself and see the difference in your self-worth that starts to come out at like 9, 12 for some, for
Here
most,
we
I would say.
are.
Yeah, and there you are. I do want to talk a little bit more about the photo shoot. You did participate in the spring photo shoot that just happened the other month. I'm so glad that you stepped out of your comfort zone to participate. Did you ever think that you were going to do a photo shoot when you joined?
I didn't think I would get to a point that I would feel that a- I would be aesthetically appropriate to do one. I didn't
Mm,
think that I could look the way that I do or feel confident to do it. I think in the back of my mind when I joined, I was like, yeah, that would be great, but I'm not, how can I look like one of these girls? But we don't all look like that. We don't all look
good.
perfect. We look like how we look. We look like ourselves. I didn't think that I'd be able to do it. And when Haley dropped that on me, I was like, are you kidding me? She's like, we got 3 months. We can do it. And I was like, but like, I'm not done. And she's like, it's not about being done. Can I find what she sent to me? because this
Yeah.
is what changed it. Hang on. So, so Haley in February sent me a voice text asking me to the photo shoot. And I was like, my response to her, oh my God, really? I know I've made progress, but I'm nowhere close to my goal. If I did May and we are still moving forward another year, do I get another opportunity to say when I hit my peak? Because I was like, I want to do another, like if I do this one, like I want to do one when I'm like way up there. And this is the part where I knew I was where I was supposed to be. So Haley says to me, I love that you're thinking long term. If you shoot in May and we keep building over the next year, you can absolutely do another shoot when you feel even closer to your peak. Remember, there isn't one final peak. There are phases and you're going to evolve and grow. This spring can be the version of you who shows up confidently behind the camera, and next year becomes refinement, growth, and deeper embodiment. You don't need to wait to be the best version of yourself. You're already becoming her, and your results are amazing, and you deserve to be celebrated. And that's when I knew I was where I was supposed to be. And it was like the confirmation of the growth of where I'd come. And every check in, I got brighter and brighter. And Haley was like, you are not like, it was exciting to have these check ins with her because I looked forward to her feedback because I like the feedback. And I like to be told, you're doing a good job. And you have that within this whole group. And to have that mentality going into a photo shoot to celebrate her, celebrate this woman. And we even took opportunities to look back at my first check in. Oh my God. And how far I'd come, how I would talk about myself, my confidence in myself, and my gratitude. The whole check in part to have that cognitive feedback, CBT, by the way, because you're writing something down and then you're saying it back and you're getting that opportunity. There's been many check ins that I've cried through emotional gratitude and being proud of myself and talking about things that have happened and being grateful for that person. This has also been a hard journey with the photo shoot because Haley wasn't there. Haley had moved out to
Mhm.
Australia and she was local before, and Haley and I have never met. So I went into the photo shoot very nervous and I was emotionally overwhelmed. I cried in the bathroom while everyone was getting ready. And I remember calling my girlfriend that had got me into this program. She talked me off the ledge and she's like, this is where you are now. You deserve to be here. And this is what you've worked hard for. And it was emotional because I was proud of myself and where I had come, but I still had this identity crisis. And even when I was shopping for clothes for the photo shoot, I remember going to Lulu and trying things on, and I had an identity crisis in the change room. I had to call my husband and I was crying because I didn't believe what I was seeing. And I also didn't think what I was trying on was really me. I remember him coming into the change room and he's like, this is what you've worked for. This is what you've worked
Mm.
so hard for. And I was like, but like, can I wear this? And he's like, why not? Because what
Mhm.
the woman was handing me, because I didn't even know what size I was like half the size of what I used to put on. And I was like, if I'm wearing this, what is the rest of the world wearing? If this is what I'm putting on my body, it was still that identity. Do I belong? Do I deserve to be here? There's still that self doubt. And that's where the identity series with Elisa has also helped me because I am worthy of all of this. I am worthy of this body. I am worthy of a healthy life. I am worthy to be strong and confident for my son and be mentally stable, show up at work, be a representative and an advocate for other nurses and be that stability at home. And I am worthy of all of those things. But coming to the photo shoot at that peak was so overwhelming. And the confidence that came to me, I knew there was something that I wanted to do at the photo shoot that if I left, I would regret.
Mhm.
I did what I came there to do, and I did it well.
Mhm. You did. You look so good. It's honestly like my mission in life to make women see that they're so beautiful. There is no perfect body out there, okay? There really isn't. And that is something that I really want to show women and make sure that we get this message across as to what we stand for, what we believe in when we're posting on social media. I want to show every shape and size. I want every shape and size at the photo shoot. I want every age at the photo shoot because it doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're there because you've been working towards something. And that is the common goal everybody has in that room. I love what Haley said to you. You're making me cry with these messages because there's no perfect time. Even when you reach whatever weight you're trying to get to, what happens, you still want to be working towards something. There's going to be something you're working towards. If it's scale numbers, a PB with your RDLs, there's always something to be working towards and celebrating yourself about. And that's what we should be doing as women. Like in every stage of life, women just struggle with this. And I think it's, well, I don't know why it is that we do it. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I want women to really know that when they come to FHK, there's so many goals to be working towards and no perfect size, no perfect age, when to start. There's no shame. I want all of you guys to walk in that room, whether you're coming to a gym day, whether you're coming to a photo shoot, and not feel like you're not good enough there. You're always good enough. You really
Is
are.
literally the most accepting and non-judgmental woman that I have ever been around.
So
Like,
many
as
women say that, and I'm just, that's what makes me get up every day and work, honestly.
I love it.
So many of the girls who came to that gym day that you're talking about, we all met up and had a gym session, and so many women expressed that they were like, I was so nervous coming, and I felt like I wasn't in shape enough, like I wasn't strong enough to be there. And I'm like, when I heard that feedback after the event, I was like, that didn't cross my mind. Like I didn't even think, oh my God, some women might not feel comfortable coming. It's just like, oh, everyone's got to be so excited. But honestly, I appreciate you sharing that experience because it's something I'm going to consider when we do that again. Because I think that I'm going to have that conversation with all the girls before. It's like, hey, how's everyone feeling? Is everyone nervous coming into the gym day? What's everyone kind of working with right now internally so that we can have that conversation before walking into the gym. And that way people feel even more safer getting there. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, well, we talked about so much today. Is there anything else that you want to share?
I think there was, I
Mhm.
had some little thing here that I wanted to say. Come on, load. Probably my kind of mentality throughout this whole process was, um, okay, let me start it again because I can't remember what the wording is in the check-in. Like, what is your, hang
What
on,
are you grateful for? What are you?
it's this one. Do, 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 do.
Okay, so we talked a lot today about many things. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
So probably the thing that I would share with everybody is my consistency with my goal. So question number 4 in the check-in is my goal is extremely important to me because, and mine has always been only I can do this. Only I can show up. Only I can do the reps. Only I can put the food in my mouth. Only I can do this. Every decision that I make is for me. Nobody's going to do it for me. You have
Mhm.
all the supports available to you, but you have to make those choices. You don't have to be on all the time. This isn't 100%. This isn't perfect, and you don't always have to operate at that level, and it's okay that you don't. It becomes easier and more consistent the more that you do it. The
Hmm.
more that I've messed up, the more that I have lost, the more negative that has come of this. I've become better at what I've done.
Hmm.
And you don't get better if you don't make mistakes and if you don't try, and you don't become more brave if you don't
Hmm.
have those fears or those what ifs, because the more that you think about it and the more positive you think, the better that version of you is going to be tomorrow. I want everyone to know, not just nurses, is that in this community, this is a safe space. This is a place to be who you are, bring what you have, and
Hmm.
take what you need and give what you can. So if you don't have anything to give one day, but you have something to give the next, it just makes such a big difference moving forward in this journey.
Thank you for sharing that. I think everyone listening is really going to be able to take that with them for the rest of their day. Yeah, it's so amazing that we have this opportunity, this life where we can be constantly challenging ourselves and like, why let fear be the one stopping us?
Only you can do this.
It's only you, nobody else. No one else is stopping you but you. Kirsten, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your journey. It proves progress doesn't require a perfect schedule, it requires consistency. You navigated shift work, night shifts, motherhood, and all of life's responsibilities, yet you still found a way to prioritize yourself and create lasting change. While the physical transformation is incredible, what stands out the most is the confidence that you've built and the trust you've developed in yourself along the way. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. I love your energy and I love how you honestly just take on every opportunity that comes your way from FHK. You're at every lecture, you've come to so many community events. Honestly, if you're listening right now, you're in the community and you're in Saskatchewan or in the States, go in the chat, ask the ladies, is there anybody in this area near me? What you put in is what you get out. Surround yourself with the women around you. We are such a big community. And even if women aren't currently in the program, they're most likely still in the chat. Try and connect with them. Or if you're traveling somewhere new, say like, hey, is anybody going to be in this area? I'm coming to visit, because it makes such an impact when you get to surround yourself with other women who are working towards the same goals. So thank you for coming on the show, sharing your journey. And everybody, thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast and leave a review. You can find us on Instagram at For Her Kind for more client stories, education, and coaching resources. We'll see you on the next episode.